Hey again, good afternoon. Neil here. This is Friday afternoon, June 27, and we have finished up another week. Now, next week's going to be interesting. We've got 3.5 day week next week because it's a half day Thursday and then closed Friday. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and a few hours Thursday. And remember that on Monday is the 30th, and that is the June 30 SPX quarterly, settlement at the end of day. Those go all the way through the end of day. And but either way, as you can see here, I've got SPX pulled up, and the short strike on that June collar is down here at 59.05, and the SPX is all the way up here at 61.70, almost 75, I guess. Now the old high back here was like at 47, I think, 61.47. So made a new high. And if I switch over to the ES, I can tell you, well, this is going to take a minute to pull up. The old high was 61.66.5. That was a different contract at the time, and that was this year. That was earlier this year. And the high from late last year was just a little lower than that. It's something like, I don't know, 61.50 or so, something like that. But earlier this year in February, the Q1 high was 61.66.5, and since then we've rolled into this new contract, and you can see the adjusted high up here would be 62.58. We put in 62 and 39 today, which is a new high. It just hasn't quite made the adjusted high up there. I don't know. I mean, it just keeps going. I would have thought it would have pulled back by now and given us something to do on a retracement, given us, a little bit better entry, cheaper prices, something. That's what I'm waiting on. I got a lot of stuff called away up here. We've talked about it in the room, and, and it raised a bunch of cash. I mean, like a lot of cash, and so I'm looking for something to do with that, and I'm buying a couple little things here and there. We've talked about it in the room, like Hertz and a few things, but largely, mostly, really, when I'm kind of waiting at this thing to pull back and give us a retracement entry, better prices, and I sure do hope that comes, and certainly sometime soon, because I'm getting a little tired of waiting as this thing just kind of continues to, march ahead here. But that is our plan. And we're running what we got, running long books, which is good. But do have, I feel like, a little too much cash on board for this thing to just continue like this. So kind of anxious for a nice little pullback. And by that, I mean, I've given you the numbers before. We were talking about, like, 58.80 or something back in here. There's a voodoo tree line, something like that. I mean, that's a decent, what is that, like 300 point some odd, pullback. I get along with that. Something at least that big, though, and would be nice. And that's our plan. So we're just going ahead. I mean, look, the only thing I can really add right now on this Friday is the fact that everything I just told you, and make sure you know that we just did make a new high from the old contract, and the adjusted high is up here at 62.58, which it hasn't quite done yet, but it is a new high, and you can see that in the SPX. So it's all good, and sort of looking forward to being right back at it again next week. So look forward to seeing you there in the room, and we will get right after it first thing Monday morning. Okay, so till then, good trading, and do take care. Good weekend. Bye-bye.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me